I started off by making some trees for my island. I used a method presented by Grant Abbott, where you simply have a square, select all the vertices, press Alt M, and merging him. Once you have this one singular vertex, you simply just extrude it until you have a nice shaped tree. Once you have a unique looking tree, simply just add the Skin Modifier. With the Skin Modifier, you simply press Ctrl A on the vertices and scale them. Now with the tree done, you simply add a Decimate modifier to make it a little bit more low poly. And there you go. For the leaves, you simply add an ecosphere and play around the sizes until you have a nice unique looking style. Then you once again add a Decimate modifier and place them around the tree until the tree is finally done. Add some materials to it and then bump it into Unity. Now repeat this process another 3 times so you have a little bit of variation for your island. Yeet. Next up, I decided to make some rocks. So you once again add an ecosphere, this time making the subdivision 1. Now let's go ahead and play around with the vertices and place them a little bit here and there, and eventually you'll end up with a nice looking rock. Let's go ahead and copy paste these and drag them around and have a couple of rocks in the same model. And now to make a unique rock, you really just have to have complementary looking materials. So find one nice rock color and then simply change it by a little bit and add it to the next one. Once you have a couple of rock models, just add it into Unity and there you go. Next up, I decided to start detailing. I wanted to make some bamboo. To make bamboo, I made a circle with the subdivision being somewhere around 8 to 10 edges to give a little bit of a bamboo feel. Then I made some leaves from a plane. You select this plane, subdivide it a couple of times, and then make a little bit of a leaf-shaped thing. Duplicate the sleeve, rotate it a little bit, and place it around here and there on some of them. Now makes a lot of bamboo trees. Make 2 colors maybe, one slightly more green and one slightly more yellow. And there you go. I also wanted to make some bushes. I once again added the ecosphere, subdivision about 2. Scaled it up, messed around with some shapes, submitted it slightly, and there you go. Don't forget to add a nice green material to it. Next up, I decided to make the actual island. First off, I tried to make it out of a circle, but I realized you can't subdivide the top of it or the bottom. So I decided to go with the cube. I subdivided the cube a couple of times, made a fairly circular island, and then started to raise some terrain here and there, as well as lowering, of course. Eventually, I ended up with a fairly nice looking top. I recommend using the face mode as well for this. Then I went to the bottom and extruded some and dragged some squares down to make it look more like an island floating. I just extruded from some of the squares to give it more of a island that lift up from the ground type of feeling, you know. I added the Decimate tool. Then I added the triangle modifier to give it more of a triangle feel, which is really low poly. Yeah. I then selected all the parts where I wanted to be grass and slightly extruded them, and then I matched the materials. For last, I just did some Japanese looking things. I just decided to make a Japanese bridge as well as a torii. You know, one of these little yeet things, you know? And those are all the models done. So once you have everything imported to Unity, to start placing all the stuff around here and there. I also added some water by simply adding a cube in Unity. Make a new material, setting it to transparent, and then lowering the opacity and setting the material to a slight blue color. Then I added where I wanted the water to be. Remember to detail rocks around here to make it look a little bit more realistic. And for last, simply just play around with the lighting settings until you end up with something nice. I also added a skybox just because. And there you go, a cool looking island. Now don't forget to save your scene, otherwise you'll end up